And First Now reports tonight, climate change contributes to decreased food production, which has become more pronounced over the last 2 to 3 decades. Though this is a global problem, it is more prevalent in developing countries, especially sub-Saharan Africa, which is among the most affected in the tropical world. The varieties of food crops cultivated in these regions are heavily impacted by changes in climate. In this report, our reporter Faith Oladimeji took us through the impacts of climate change on Nigeria's food production and economic stability.
For the last 2 decades, the world has experienced a constant change that has severely affected Earth's agricultural ability. As a result, 1/10 of the global population, as many as 811 million people, were undernourished in 2020, an increase in 180 million from 2019, according to the United Nations.
Variation in weather, that's the simplest definition you can give to climate change. And when there's variation in weather, it affects your production, it affects the people, it affects your planting season, and it at times gives you extreme heat, which is not conducive for planting. So in overall, it alters even the seasons. And once these things are done, your food production level is hampered, productivity low, and the condition through which you are planting is not achieved. So at the end of the day, it affects humanity and affects our food production level, and at the same time, even affect our health.
Well, when we talk of climate change, it has both positive and negative effects, you understand? It is when it is severe that it can impact negatively on agriculture or food production, either in terms of crop or in terms of livestock. When it is minimal or moderate warming or climate warming will definitely boost agricultural production.
Extreme climate events such as flooding and drought have led to some dedication, resulting in low crop output, affecting the cost of food produced in the open market.
The economic implication is simple. It affects our standard of living one way or the other, because it's what you produce that you get. What you get is what you sell. And once you are supposed to get 40 kg from a farm, you are getting 10 kg. At least it will affect you. It will affect your finances. And once it affects your finances, it will affect your standard of living. And once it affects your standard of living, it affects your family. And once it affects your family, it affects your nation.
When there is severe climate change, when we talk of, it has to do with emission of greenhouse. When there's possibly too much of carbon dioxide, you understand? Then the emission of the greenhouse have to affect the ozone layer. And when there's depletion of the ozone layer, then the aftermath effect boils down on crop or livestock production. And as such a case, it could adversely reduce crop production and equally affect livestock production. And when that happens, it affects the economy or the economic growth.
The practice of rain-fed agriculture and other land use activities account for over 25% of greenhouse gas submission, increasing vulnerability to climate change impact.
The solution is like government should roll out policies on environmental perception about the climate. We must get people prepared to make a change. There are so many practices that have affected climate change, like you dump all these plastic bottles inside the ocean. It affects it one way or the other. So all those policies must stop. We must keep the environment clean. Make sure you don't drop refuse inside the ocean exactly during rainfall. Policies must be rolled out and it must be followed. I mean agricultural policies, environmental policies. The nation is too dirty.
When you emit so much gas to the atmosphere, either even at home or even in the industry or the industrial sector, then it will affect. So how do we bring it, or how do we militate it, or mitigate it rather? How do we mitigate it? We mitigate it by reducing the amount of gas we release to the atmosphere. So the first thing is reducing emission of gas. Then even planting. That's why we are talking of planting tree. You know, there's a people are saying plant a tree, because it is believed that when you plant tree makes use of the carbon dioxide that we emit or that it releases to the atmosphere. So when they make use of it, then they reduce the emission. So there's need for us to plant trees or to avoid deforestation or bush burning.
There is a need for sustainable agriculture to meet the increasing demand for food for the growing population in Nigeria. In order to ensure food security, we need to understand the climate changes around us and how it affects agricultural productivity and rural livelihood. Faith Oladimeji, reporting for KAFTAN TV News.